YouTube. Whew. YouTube's a crazy place, man. And it's especially crazy if you're not just watching videos, but actually putting yourself out there in video form. It's a platform where, unless you're extremely lucky, all the odds are stacked against you. Even if you're putting out unique videos that no one has ever seen before and would actually be interested in watching, or even if you're putting out videos that are better than 90% of what other channels in your niche are putting out, there are still no guarantees on YouTube. The only tried and true way to build a real audience on YouTube and get more people watching your videos is through hard work, passion, some technical know-how, and more than a lot of dedication. And even then, it can take a hell of a long time and a little bit of luck before you get anywhere. That being said, there are some very tempting options out there for beginner YouTubers, options that claim to be able to give you a nice little jump start if you feel like your hard work isn't really paying off, or you just want to skip the hard work part altogether. As long as you have some cash to spend, of course. That's right, I'm talking about sites and services where you can buy likes, subscribers, views, and pretty much whatever you need to grow your YouTube channel. And in this video, I'll tell you exactly why making use of any of these sites or services is a really bad idea. And the reason I know it's a bad idea is because I've already been through it and I've seen the fallout that comes from it. And the real kicker here is it wasn't even me who instigated it. See, about 3 months ago, long after my first ever video went kind of viral, I had just published a video that was essentially a tech YouTuber tier list. Initially, it performed really well, which was really kind of awesome because as stupid as that video was, it was one of the most fun ones I had filmed up to that point. But just a day or two after that, I started noticing some kind of strange things when I looked at the numbers for said video. After a few hours of trying to figure out exactly what was happening, I noticed that I had a few messages waiting from an avid viewer of the channel in my inbox. I won't be showing the actual messages because it would just be annoying to blur out all the names and identifying details, but essentially the viewer explained that they did something that would really help the channel out. Something that would drive more views to my latest video, and that if it works and I like it, that they would do that for my other videos. And they even said that if it works out well for me, even though it's not required, they wouldn't mind getting a cut of the profits for those videos. Yeah. Now, as a lot of you can probably tell already, I'm not generally an angry dude, but this particular situation got me riled up like very few others can. First things first, I did not ask for this. I've been in the YouTube space thanks to UFD Tech long before I ever even started this channel. And during my time there, I learned exactly how important it is to gain an audience and grow viewership organically. Which is why, from the start of this channel, I vowed never to get involved in any of that shady crap. Secondly, I was severely ticked off because I knew exactly how damaging said shady crap could be to a channel. And now I was actually starting to see it happen to my own channel firsthand. Let me just fire up my channel's analytics so I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so here we can see that my channel generally gets its views from YouTube search, browse features, which is just YouTube sharing my video to other people that might want to watch them, and suggested videos. External views, on the other hand, only make up about 2.2% of my viewership. External essentially refers to stuff like social media, like Facebook and Twitter, along with other websites where you can embed your videos. Now, let's jump over to the video that started this whole thing. And let's focus on the first 4 days of it being published. Now, everything here kind of checks out. The first influx of views I usually get is from you guys coming in to watch the video, and that shows up as browse features over here. External over here also makes sense because I share my videos to all the channel's social media pages as soon as it's published, so both of those make a lot of sense. Now let's switch over to the first month or two of the video being live. Now here is where things start getting very interesting. During this time, rather than falling off completely like they do on pretty much all my other videos, external actually takes the top spot here by a significant margin, which would have been really cool if it was due to someone sharing my video on Facebook or Reddit and it just blowing up. But that's not the case here. It wasn't Facebook, Twitter, or even Google search driving views here. It was this particular website that was responsible for 87% of the external views. I'll try not to show the name of the actual website just in case, but after I saw it popping up in my analytics, I went to check it out, and unsurprisingly, it was a website that offers views in exchange for cash. As extremely shady as all of that sounds to someone like me who cares about the credibility of my channel, a view is still a view, right? No, it is not. See, I went ahead and dug a little deeper into the site's terms and conditions, and in there it says that people who watch the videos are only required to watch about 15 seconds, aren't required to get subscribed, hit like, or engage in the video in any way at all. And sure enough, if we head on over here to the engagement tab and take a look at this audience retention graph over here, which basically shows you the percentage of the video that people are actually staying to watch, starts off really strong and then dips into essentially nothingness. An audience retention rate of 20% is really low for my channel. Overall, the videos on my channel tend to have a retention rate of about 30%, give or take. Like this video over here, or this video, or this video, or even this video, which has the highest retention rate on my entire channel. Now, if we go ahead and dig a little deeper, we can see exactly why the retention rate on this video is so low. The 125 views that came in from this particular source is by far the highest out of all the other external sources. But look at that average view duration, 43 seconds. I mean, I guess at least it's not 15 seconds, but still, that's really tragic for a 17-minute long video. Compare that to the 6.5 minutes average view duration from browse features, or even the average view durations from these other sources, and it all becomes even more ridiculous. See, because I'm already pretty familiar with how YouTube works, and I'm starting to get more familiar with how the algorithm works, I know that there are a ton of metrics YouTube takes into consideration before deciding whether to push a video to other people or not. YouTube loves engagement almost as much as it loves watch time, and all these 15-second views coming in from people who don't like, subscribe, comment, or interact with the video at all ticked literally none of those boxes. I obviously can't guarantee that this is the sole reason YouTube decided not to push this video, but I sure as hell can guarantee that it did not help. To this day, the video has never recovered. And here's another thing. After I angrily explained to the viewer who bought the views that this was completely out of line and would do more harm to the channel than good, along with showing them exactly what I just showed you, they apologized and said they'd put a stop to the whole thing as soon as possible. But from what they told me, the site just flat out said that there is nothing that I can do about this. And the damage was even worse than I thought, because it turns out that it wasn't just that one video that got hit by the site, but also the majority of the other videos that I had uploaded before that one. This was something that the site apparently claimed was completely impossible, even though I had the evidence right there that showed in my analytics them popping up in videos they're not supposed to. Luckily, the other videos that were affected weren't hit nearly as badly as the original one, with only like 1 or 2 videos coming in for those videos per month, but it was still adding oil to the fire. Thankfully, the viewer kept pressure on the site to actually do something, and eventually they offered a little glimmer of hope. It wasn't a particularly bright glimmer, but it was something. And it's something that you might need to keep in mind if you're ever in a similar situation. In order to stop views coming in from sites like those, you'd have to go into the details section over here for your video, go to more options, scroll all the way down to this part right here, and uncheck this little box that says allow embedding. Thankfully, after doing that with all the videos on the channel, the views from that particular website just completely dried up. But of course, this method does come with some downsides of its own. If you rely on stuff like blogs or similar sources to drive traffic to your videos, then you're kind of out of luck, since embedding won't be an option for you. As we saw earlier, my channel doesn't really rely on external sources for views so much, so this was a trade-off I was more than willing to make. After a few months or so, I actually went ahead and re-enabled embedding on all of the videos that were previously affected, and guess what? Views from that particular site started to trickle in once again. I cannot make this shit up. Luckily, it was only like 1 or 2 views per month, so it wasn't really worth the effort to go in and disable embedding for all of those videos again. But still, man, according to the viewer, they had only paid for a single video to be promoted, and for that promotion period to run for a maximum of 7 days. And here I was, many months after all of that, still getting a trickle of garbage views coming in from a garbage site. Good intentions and all that crappy stuff aside, I see this as channel sabotage, plain and simple. And it's sabotage I've seen multiple small YouTubers just like myself willingly getting themselves into, whether they actually know what they're getting themselves into or not. I've seen many channels buy views for their sponsored videos, even really well-established channels, just to keep the sponsors happy. And that's fine, I guess. Unfortunately, most companies do only care about high view counts. But I'm betting those videos die off really quickly, just like they did in my particular case, and they're essentially just dead weight on the channel. And since the majority of the views on those sponsored videos aren't real, the sponsor isn't really getting what they're paying for either. I've also seen really good channels just outright buying subs, which baffles me even more than just buying views for sponsored posts. First off, none of those subscribers have any intention of watching any of your future videos, because they're essentially fake accounts. So you don't actually get anything other than a higher number under your YouTube name, which I don't think is particularly worth whatever they're charging for it. YouTube also tends to delete fake accounts every so often, meaning the chances of you losing a ton of those subs all at once is pretty dang high. The only logical reason I can think that people might actually want to do this is if you're a small channel and you've already hit the 4,000 watch hour mark and you just want to hit 1,000 subscribers so YouTube can actually monetize your channel. In which case, again, that's fine as long as you know what you're getting yourself into. Just keep in mind that no matter what the boost you're buying is, unless you're playing it really smart and balancing everything out, what you're doing is very obvious to anyone who's paying any kind of attention, which might include possible sponsors, and definitely includes other channels that might be keeping an eye on you. Subscribers don't just show up on your channel or on your social blade without the views to back them up. And high view counts without the accompanying comments, likes, or even dislikes also come off as very, very fishy. But like I said, I'm not here to tell anyone what to do or take some sort of moral high ground. I just want to share my experience with you guys. Mostly because even though it was a really crappy situation to be in, it was still, in hindsight, a pretty interesting one to go through. And if this helps a fellow creator out by giving them a better understanding of what they're getting themselves into, then that's a little bonus. And that does it for this video. Now this is usually the part in the video where I ask you guys to like and subscribe and do all that YouTube stuff, but for this one I just wanted to talk straight to you guys. I sincerely hope that all of you are being safe and you're being smart with all the uncertain things and the human malware thing going on. I hope you guys are doing okay. Here in South Africa, our president just announced that the entire country would be going into total lockdown sometime later this week, and that it would last for about 21 or so days, which totally isn't scary at all. But in all seriousness, this whole thing is probably gonna get a lot worse during the next few weeks. Not just here, but throughout the entire world. And I honestly hope that each and every one of you and your families comes out of it all pretty much unscathed. I've already been self-quarantining myself for a while, even before this announcement was made, and I intend to keep on doing that until hopefully all of this blows over. And I hope you guys are doing the same thing. Anyway, yeah, I really do hope to see all of your faces in the next video. So, be safe, and cheers.